thanks to Doctors Imerzuqan and Adler Bel'id, the presidents of this conference. Thank you for your invitation. Well, and I would like to thank Professor Nadia and Professor Huadli for their very interesting presentations. Well, actually, I'm going to shift from the what to the how. My title is Exploring Weaknesses in Three Crucial Thesis Components: Literature Review, Research Questions, and Hypotheses. As you know, and as you have noticed, we give little importance to the literature review. What is a literature review? What do students do while exploring the writing the literature review? Are they doing right or wrong? Okay. And as you can see, I put a picture of the three musketeers, okay, to mean that one for all or all for one. The same here. The title means all for one, and they are tightly interrelated. So, the aim of the study, this presentation aims to highlight the common pitfalls encountered by doctoral students in formulating research questions, developing hypotheses, and conducting reliable literature reviews. It sheds light on various writing flaws and offers strategies to avoid them. Okay, these questions we strive to answer during the presentation are: what is a literature review and what makes it reliable and credible? What is a hypothesis and how should we construct it? What are the characteristics of a reliable research questions? How are these elements tightly connected? Okay, so in scientific research, dear all, the literature review, the research question, and the hypotheses are strongly interrelated, each relying on the others to be effectively developed. This interdependence ensures that the research is grounded in existing theory and evidence, enhancing its validity and contribution to the field. So, if any of the three components is inadequately executed, it can disrupt the coherence of the entire research process and potentially lead to its failure. Those who do not know this, they have to remember, if they are not well reformulated, designed, and interrelated, your work is a total failure. I will explain. Okay, so the interdependence is explained by these books and research articles. How? Well, the literature review, it is a narrative summary and the evaluation of the findings of theories within literature base, as also known as narrative literature review. So, how is it related to the research paper, to research questions, to the hypothesis? A literature review attempts to analyze critically any existing literature relevant to a particular topic, research questions, or hypothesis. So, you can't build your hypothesis or research questions if you don't have a reliable literature review. Okay, because it contextualizes the research, it gives you the research gaps. Without research gaps, you can't claim to say, I'm doing a research. Where is your gap? So actually, if someone asks you, what is this research paper, literature review, and where is the gap? If you can't answer, then your work is a total failure. It helps you understand research methodologies. And when understanding the research methodologies used in the literature review, you are going to choose your research methodologies that would help you in doing your research. It supports the hypotheses and research questions, and it avoids duplication. It means if something has already been done, you know that you should not duplicate it. Then it demonstrates scientific rigor and avoids what we call redundancy. I have to be quick. Okay. For the hypothesis, it is a specific prediction based on previous research. So it is based on the literature review. If you don't have a reliable literature review, then your hypothesis can be unreliable. Okay, so how to formulate it? This is the big problem, dear all. I attended a Viva, and one candidate, when I told her, your hypothesis is not correct, is wrong, she said, no, it is correct. What a shame. And due to my respect, I could have shown her whole thesis full of mistakes. You have to respect knowledge and science. I'm here to help, not to blame. You see? Some people use the conditional type 2, would, which is wrong. We will see why. So, a hypothesis, an educated guess about how your scientific will end, and not would end. Be careful. The formatting, you all know, we have the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So, the pitfall in writing hypotheses are description. We have vague hypotheses. You have to avoid the vague hypotheses. Because of time, I have to move. Too broad or complex. Overly complicated language. Lack of directionality. And all these are taken from these sources. It means well documented. So, in misuse of tenses, so some people use modals. Yes. Could, would, may. And you have noticed when I say we don't put may, someone got angry. Why? It is ambiguous. Why? Models can make the hypothesis less precise, leading to ambiguity about the expected relationship between variables. Example, when we say, studying more hours might improve students' grades. The problem, the use of might makes it unclear whether the hypothesis actually predicts an improvement in grades due to the more study hours. Now, solution, increase study hours, improve student grades. This is my hypothesis. I hypothesize that increased studies hours improve student grades. Then my research will decide, accept or reject. You say, if it rejects, I'm a champion. If it accepts, I'm a champion. So, misuse of tests. We have lack of testability with models, weakening of the hypothesis with models, and using unnecessary doubt with models. So, could, might, may, you should avoid them. Okay? Using, okay. The same for conditional type 2 in hypothesis. Problem, conditional type 2 sentence imply a hypothetical situation that is unlikely or not expected to actually occur. If something is unlikely to happen, we know it in advance that is not going to happen. Why taking it as a hypothesis? Is it clear? We say, for example, if aliens would visit, this is type 2, then we will sign a collaboration convention with them. Is it going to happen? It's not. So we have to avoid it. Still, dear all, there are some exceptions if you do research, and they will explain why these exceptions. And when you read the exception, you will understand the hidden meaning behind that. So for the type 2, lack of testability, ambiguity, and better alternatives, use direct prediction. If students study more hours, they would get better grades. It's wrong. Instead, increased study hours lead to higher grades. Okay? So these are the references for these. Now we have to if-then hypotheses. If-then hypotheses are also a good way to write your hypothesis. Example, if I replace the battery in my car, then my car will get better gas mileage. So here we have will and not would. Okay? Impact of exercise the same here with if. Now I go to the questions. Strong research question. What are strong research questions? Like the problems here, the common pitfalls I found with students: lack of clarity and precision, overly broad scope, assuming the answer. Sometimes the answer is assumed, is given. Okay, when you say, I found, for example, in some students' work, and they don't accept my advice. Okay, when I say, they ask them, is English good for your studies? Is it a question? First, it's yes and no question. We have to avoid yes and no question, and we know in advance that English is good for research. So there is not what we call an information gap. In any research question, there must be an information gap. Ignoring, so lack of feasibility, irrelevance, complex and compound nouns, lack of alignment with research. Okay. Then, yes, no questions. Please avoid yes and no questions. Why? Does social media use affect mental health? It goes without saying, of course, it affects. Okay. Yes. Yes. Is climate change real? Okay. Do students benefit from all? No. Okay. So we have to avoid this. Still, in true experimental research, sometimes, especially in medicine, sometimes we can ask yes or no questions because we want to know if yes or no. That's all. This is, especially in medical conclusion, research is responsible and delicate mission. It plays a vital role in advancing human knowledge, solving pressing issues, and informal major life decisions. Conducting research demands rigor and a critical self-assessment to ensure there is no room for negligence or mediocrity. We must be merciless against ourselves, with ourselves. Impitoyable avec nous. Okay. No place for tenderness, tolerance. No. Rigor. Okay. I want to acknowledge, dear all, so in any research now, you have to integrate AI, artificial intelligence, one dealing with research. Okay. Because, why? Simply, these other references, it can make your work easier, facilitate, guides you, but you know how to use it. I take this opportunity to show you this artificial intelligence webinar. I saw it in the morning. Okay, if you wish to participate or not, Professor Nadia. Yes, yes, of course. Yes, participate and talk about your journal. Yes, by the way, I congratulate you on this great thing. Barakallahu fiqh. It's an honor for the whole university, Bijaya, and not only Bijaya. So, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor. Yes, thank you so much. Now we move to Dr. Amel Hind Mustari from the University of Sidi Bla